This bit here, yeah, here. This to me, this is like a final boss fight. Come on, this is like do 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 THOR reacts to Edge of the World. First of all, guys, I'll say two things here. First of all, then, thanks to Moonlight Crusade 1 giving me this list here, right? I asked in the last video, I was like, okay, I have a hard time following or finding or whatever, right? Like the last kind of Love Bites videos or whatever, right? On their main channel. So this one, then, as said here, right? By Moonlight Crusade 1 is the last one on their main channel. That's why I started with that one. And you can kind of see here now, then, I am gonna go down this list basically, right, in the following weeks, doing more, of course, Love Bite reaction news and so on, right? So this is basically the list I will follow, right? Secondly, so after this video, I'm gonna upload this 2-hour-long video that I've been working on. This video is gonna cover my recent brigading against me, right? The harassment, the death threats, the doxing, and whatnot, right? If you're up to date with that. But basically, I break it down very simply here, guys. Last year, right, I critiqued and exposed this big YouTuber, right, over 1 million subscribers, because he was attacking the animators, right, for One Punch Percent 3. I obviously known about this person for a long time, but I didn't care about that. He's, as I say, a grifter, he lies or whatever, right, just to get any clout or views, so it doesn't matter much. But I think that attacking the people, right, that are working on something, that was just by far crossing the line, right? And if you've seen my earlier Love Bites videos, right, you know, I talk about how much I like, you know, people that give an effort, right, the skills, the talent, working on something, improving stuff, right? And the whole idea to attack someone that is like a bottom junior artist designer, right, on any kind of project doesn't make any sense, right? Because they have no say, they have like this budget, you can only work for like 5 days on this thing, right, or whatever. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's just insane, right? It's really, really bad in bad taste, right? And after I made the video, he of course had no actual response to it, right, from a logical standpoint. So he got really angry at me, started stalking me, started harassing me on different channels, sent some threats, and so forth, right? You know what I mean? And then 2 weeks ago, I started working on another video, right, where I further exposed these people in a jokingly, I would say, sarcastic manner, but that's beside the point. And that really triggered a bunch of these big YouTubers, right? And they sent their fans after me. Now, my video, what we'll address, is actually their fans, right? And I really mean that. I try to help them here. I hope just one of their fans actually watch the whole video and reflect over their own behavior, right? Because the issue really, I think, is that they have this incredible, right, parasocial, unhealthy relationship with these people. You might have it with me too, you know what I mean? But it's kind of weird, right, where overall, it's very unhealthy having what's called a codependent relationship, right, with anyone, which tends to happen, of course, in some romantic, right? We have a very toxic relationship or whatnot, right? And I'm going to cover that in my video then for like a half an hour, that video. But my point is that rather than having a toxic, codependent, unhealthy relationship in real life, these people, right, unfortunately, right, have it with streamers, right? Where they have this lemming mentality. If a streamer says something, they will just, you know, think it's true, right, you know. If the streamer says the world is flat, they will pretend that the world is flat, right. And it's incredibly unhealthy, right. And what I saw then, but I got attacked, right, I got like 500 comments, right, in one day, early this week, and ignoring the death threats and doxing or whatever, right? But the actual, like, just comments trying to, like, you know, insult me or trying to argue with me, literally not a single person could write an actual argument. And I genuinely mean that. You can go to the video, no one of them is attempting even, right, to have an argument with me, right, or proving me wrong or whatever, because they can't, right. That's the bottom line. They know deep down that what I said is accurate, right. They know what I said is true. So no one of them can actually do it. So they do this weird, it's called double thinking, where they're pretending to have two oxymoron, right, two states that cannot be true at the same time, and they pretend it, right, and they try to, like, use what's called self-deception or rationalize their behavior, right? Which again just, you know, fuels this unhealthiness, right? So I made a video, I started working on it yesterday, and it's basically just like 2 hours going over all this stuff, right? And unfortunately, I know that all of these people probably will hate it, right? Because it hurts their, what's called an ego, right? It hurts their internal psychology, right? Because if they have to actually accept anything I say in that video, they kind of breaks down their worldview, right? But I give it one example here. I'm not, rude video here too much, but I give one example here. And I asked one of these people, right, in my comment section, like, do you support Hamas, right? Terrorists, and he refused to say no, right? Which is an incredible, weird position to have, right? Like supporting a very well-known T stuff, right? Very, very weird position to have. Now, the reason he very likely takes that positioning is not because of political, because he actually, whatever, hates that other stuff and so on, right? But it's rather just because he hates me so much, right? Because I hurt the feelings of his favorite streamer or whatever, right? So when I'm saying him, okay, but do you support this thing or whatever, right? Or I am against this thing, he's also against that, right? It's kind of like the whole thing that if the person you hate the most likes to drink water, you also should stop drinking. That kind of thing, right? Where it's like, no, my hater guy, he likes what I like. He likes the same music that I like. Oh, I can't listen to him more. That thing is like, again, that's why it's so evidently unhealthy, right? Because if I ask this person that I like to, drink water, you have to stop drinking water now because I like that, right? It doesn't make any sense. It's so unhealthy. So anyway, we'll cover that. If you're interested, check it out. But yeah, like I covered in the video, I really feel that's just so. I feel so pity and sad for these people because they're so obsessed with this really unhealthy life, right? And it's all about not improving their own life. Right? It's all about living in this fantasy world. And I'm sure, I'll say one thing lastly here. I do think that these people probably are, of course, most of them very, very, young, right? Yeah, very, probably never had a job in their life and so on. So on. I don't mean as an insult, like, oh, these people are unemployed. I mean rather as in, I talked about this actually last Friday with the professor I work with. He's a professor with like animators and so on. Right? I talked to him about this thing. He said, yeah, well, a lot of issues people have, right, is that they have never actually experienced any actual hardship in their life, like actual hardship, right? So one thing is very clear is that when I'm trying to talk to these people, right, in the comments or whatever, or other sites, they cannot handle any kind of, counter arguments, right? And I mean, like, when I say, what do you mean with this thing? They're like, oh, like, they can't handle any kind of conflict, right? And I think that is also the whole, people are so sheltered these days. They've never been outside in the real life, right? They never had an actual, like, high demanding job or whatever. So they can't handle any kind of criticism whatsoever, right? And it's very, very unhealthy. It's extremely unhealthy. I covered that last year, right? When I had this massive war, right, with these scientists. They're supposed to be better, right? And that was one of my main concern with them, is that you're supposed to be these elite scientists, guys, and you can't handle me telling you your map is wrong, right? What's wrong with you? You have to shed their lives. Yeah, like what's wrong with you? But anyway, I don't want to delve too much here. Let's do LOVEBITES. And I'll say one thing though. I do feel that I'm thinking of. I mean, I have more than one channel, but I have to say that I am thinking of starting a new channel where I can either move all of these, like drama bits, right, or the reverse thing. I make a new channel where we only do positive reactions, right, and we have like all the drama on this channel. I don't know, honestly. Look below if you have an idea. Would be best, but I do feel this is getting a little bit like I don't want this channel. I don't want to have this on the same channel. I feel it feels like it's like half the video, getting into this drama negativity, right? And not because I'm against negativity, because I don't make this video, right, to be negative. I make it genuinely trying to help people, like, absolutely. But it's still gonna be a lot of negativity, right, from that side. So I do feel like maybe I should actually start making two difference in that version. And that's how it feels. But anyways, we hit the lava, guys. So for a long intro here. So I'm gonna raise the camera up here, because I saw that Miyako playing the piano where I usually have my camera, right? So we go like this. And again, yeah, sorry for a long intro there, but I see people starting writing comments and everything. Whatever. Go into it.
Deceiving lie, hide each other. Why does it never end? Destroying
This is great. This is amazing. Jesus Christ. I was thought I paused 1 second too early. I was so impressed by it. But yeah, I just want to make a little pause. Sorry, yeah, I paused 1 second too early. No, but I was like, this is of course impressive. This is a very long video, right? It's 7.5 minutes. So that was like a really cool rock ballad. Asami's, yeah, the last bit there, let's just hear it again. That was amazing. The last, her amazing vocals there. And yeah, we also saw how Miyako's moving over there, right? So, but this is, again, like a really cool live performance, right? Where they probably go much faster now. So it's like, you know, several different, how say it, musical layers, or you call it, right? Like it's gonna be, this feels like one of these live performances where it's gonna be like 2-3 songs in one. At least it's gonna be like, yes, but it could have been like 3 different songs, right? That's how this program feels. But let's go back to this bit. That was really amazing. She really hits this, yeah, incredible.
But it's at the end of
That is, that's incredible. Okay, I think the opposite gonna go faster now. Let's see if it's a rock ballad the whole way.
Why do we always say our desires really selfless? What if there's certain when there is no just to say everybody else struggling like every else fools? Will we never know what evidence? Wondering to who we did to come, counting the blessings.
But this is what I mean, right? This is what I mean, yeah. So that's an amazing, like, rock ballad, chorus scene, or here, I guess, better word for it. Labas did that before, right? Asami's voices, this is amazing. Yeah, I mean, the intro clearly kind of like the peak of it. The sister, that was really awesome. But what I said earlier, right? I feel that's gonna happen now, right? We're gonna have like another songs that be like, we hear that kind of coming now, right? I think we're gonna have basically like, you know, this is why they're so good at live, right? Because now we're gonna have like, yeah, this is gonna be like another completely other beat now, right? Right, we're putting some shredding, maybe like a DUEL, right? If it's like a Miyako, M.D.O might be coming here, right? It feels like a completely different song now. But yeah, it was like a 7.5 minutes. You can't expect that. A good like heartbeat. Oh, you know when it's middle in the red, man, you know it's gonna be like, oh yes, yeah. Oh, that was amazing. That was badass. I didn't expect it to be like a, I wouldn't call it like a pure instrumental because obviously it's a rock from the beginning. But yeah, like it's badass. But it definitely has that feeling, right? We are two different songs. Like the first is a rock ballad, then we get like a badass instrumental. And you know how my game, that's left to myself. That was a great forest slip. You know how my mind works, right? Because I immediately think video games when I hear this thing, and I don't know why. Leave a comment below if you if this sounds good. I said so many times, right? But for me, it's always like, man, this would be the perfect like Mega Man boss. Yeah, this bit here, we started turning red, right? We saw most of Midori playing. I'm just thinking like this would be the ultimate like boss music. Like I keep saying that, but that's obviously in my head. I'm like, yeah, this bit here, yeah, here. This to me, this is like a final boss fight. Come on, this is like do 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 do. Dun, 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 dun. No, 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 dun, 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 dun. Like, am I the only one feeling that ultimate boss music? To me, that just feels like I'm, you know, this is one thing I love at LOVEBITES, and I keep saying it, of course, but for me, it's kind of like, okay, I'm putting on the PlayStation 1, I feel, right? And I'm playing something like maybe Breath of Fire, Final Fantasy, probably most F7, F8, right? And I get into this like badass boss fight. And like, that's how I feel when I hear. I'm entering this boss room, right? And this giant mecha came stuff from the ceiling, and it's like, and this you see Midori, that's shredding. I'm like, here's the boss fight start, right? And the screen explodes, right? And it's like old school 32-bit when the screen kind of shatters, right? This ugly. Today it looks super ugly, right? But back in the days, that was amazing, right? Because you have this screen. And it's shattered into this glass thing, right? That today you can make 10 times better. But back in those days, that was the ultimate thing ever, right? And the most like, then you hear like, yeah, that's how this feels to me, right? Most get that massive, like, it's like, oh my god, this is the ultimate like boss music vibes. I listen to LOVEBITES. I'm always like, this is what but I keep thinking like, I want to make a video game and I want to have LOVEBITES like, you know, write all the songs. So this I keep thinking when I listen to LOVEBITES. It's like always in my brain, like, oh my god, I want them to be, you know, making all my music for my video game. But let's go end there. That was a great song. That was really good. But I mean, I always feel I really like it, right? I keep saying that, but I really like it when you have any music band doing, several different thematics, right? Several different steps of it. That's always really great. Yeah, like when you have this thing here and you're going over different kind of like, it almost feels like 3 songs like in one. I always say that thing, but I really liked it with LOVEBITES when they have these really long videos, right? It's like 6, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, some of them, right? So and they used to, yeah, I think LOVEBITES has a lot of like around 6 minutes music, right? This is obviously even longer, so that's really fun. And I think it's also more fun, right, when you're doing a video per se too, to be a little meta here. But it's also fun if you're doing a video. It's not as interesting doing like a reaction to like a 1.5 minute, right? That's one reason why I love, as about in the past, right, like doing like anime openings, for example, with LOVEBITES, right? Because if you do an anime opening, you have all the visuals and also the music to break down, right? I did this FRIEREN this Friday, and I made like a 40-minute FRIEREN video. She has the link below, guys, because that to me was a great example of like a great song plus the visuals, right? Because the FRIEREN opening, especially this one, is a very like based on Sweden, right? THOR maximized that, but it really was because they had this thing called Midsommarkrans, okay, with the whole Midsommar team, right? So I broke down all of that stuff, right? I broke down all the kind of Swedish thematics, right, of that opening. So then I get really happy, right? I can both talk about the song and the visuals, and the ending was great too. So whatever, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, but FRIEREN is like 10 out of 10 high quality production, right? So it's quite different than most of that, honestly. It absolutely is. Yeah, it's so much higher quality than most other stuff, right? But anyway, yeah, now this was really great. I mean, I loved all the different pieces of it, right? We could go over different sides. Like I mentioned earlier, the boss music, that was awesome. But, man, it's not amazing live performance because, like I said, you start with Asami's amazing voice. And yeah, again, I feel this is like an Asami video. In the last ones now, it's been Asami, the front woman, the hype woman. But this one is different though, right? Because in the previous one, the last video I did, in that one, it was more like, the hype, the front woman, right? Asami running around, being like, whoa, it was more that, do the wave with me. Yeah, that was more, how she's hilariously funny and, all the charisma, whatever, right? That was more on that bit, right? How she was like, oh my god, she's 10 out of 10 charisma, right? On the stage presence, all that stuff, right? This video here instead, I think is more her voice, right? This is more the singer in her. Yeah, this one here exemplifies, more her singing performance, right? Than necessarily her, charisma, I guess, best word for I can figure out. But obviously, she has both. That's clearly what we can see here. But I still think it is a little bit different, though, honestly. I don't agree with me, but I still think it's a little bit different because I think when we see her perform, I think it tends to be a little more like this, isn't it? Where if she has a music performance, okay, this is gonna be like my voice, very focused on me singing and this stuff, right? Then she becomes more this like, okay, I'm gonna, do this amazing voice singing, right? I'm gonna focus on my voice, my chord, whatever. But if it's more like, okay, this is like a Midori Miyako DUEL performance, right? Then she's more of a high performance. I do feel she has like two different mental modes, right? Where it does feel like if it's more about her voice, then she's less hyperactive on the stage, whatever you call it, But I think that's so, and obviously it's easier for her because if she knows that, okay, it's gonna be like a 3-minute Midori beat now, then I can run around and do all this stuff, right? With this song here, it's like, okay, it's mostly her singing in the beginning, right? And then in the middle we have the beat. So I don't know, but you agree with that? I think that's fair to say that you kind of see her having that personality more, right? Anyway, guys, hope you liked the video. Subscribe, right? And if you're interested, of course, check out the other video I made. And I guess a sign that I want to make before I forget here, that other video, right? That is more, I suppose, representing of how I am on one of my other channels, right? On my science channel, it's more like that, right? We talk slowly, we go over stuff. I have to admit that when I made the video, I was thinking a little bit in my head, like I actually genuinely do want to help people. I do feel sorry for them, but I also kind of hate the devil in my mind was like, okay, let's make it really long. Let's make it super overtly, lecturing wise, kind of academic wise, right? and most of them are never gonna watch it anyway. I'm gonna see them react to it, right? They're gonna write the mean comments like, "Oh, I hate you," whatever. Your video is wrong. I'm like, "Why? Have you even seen the video?" Right? And I'm gonna be like, "Have you even, you know what I mean?" And I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, so you didn't even finish the video, right?" Because it's like, I'm just laughing by it. But I mean, honestly, I would be happy. I mean, I would be really happy if my haters actually will watch the video and actually go over the points. I mean, I would be amazed, and I want to be very clear, right? I don't want them to just sit there and be, "Oh, I hate you," right, and not watch the video. It'd be amazing if they actually watch the whole video and then they will, you know, counter argue me. That would be a really, really good for me as well. Then I will learn stuff, right? If they can actually present why I'm wrong on X, Y, or Z, then I can also evolve and learn, right? But unfortunately, I think they're gonna watch it for like a minute, right, and then lie about everything I said, right, and I actually not going over it. That's also, for that matter, why on that video, last thing I said, guys, sorry about this whole thing, but whatever, I didn't actually put in timestamps on that video, because I recognized in my last video where they started harassing me, right, some of them would clearly not see the video, right, but they would talk about my the timestamps in the video, right. Basically the title per timestamp. They use as argument. Well, you are saying at minute 5 this thing, right? I actually didn't say that. That's a title of it, and then I'm explaining in detail, right? So you're only basing what you are writing right now on the title alone of that like sub content, right? You're not actually basing on what I'm actually saying. You're only basing it on like what you think that means, right? So this time I have no timestamps, so they have to actually watch the video, right? And need to figure out what I'm saying in it. But it's a little more effort, right? But yeah, it was very clear at the time that they don't actually, they don't even go in that far, right? Yeah, they look at some of them are looking at timestamps and being like, well, this is what you are saying. What does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, well, yeah. So, but anyway, you know what it is, guy. Have a great day, guys, and see you guys soon with a long video.